What if artificial intelligence could read your thoughts? Imagine a world where your mind is the password, and your ideas are instantly shared, no words needed. Imagine a conversation happening without a single word spoken. Stick around because what you're about to see could change how you think about technology, privacy, and the future of the human mind. Not a whisper, not a gesture, just pure thought, translated directly from one mind to another, or from a mind to a machine. This isn't a scene from a distant science fiction movie. This is a reality being built in laboratories today. A paralyzed man, unable to move or speak for years, recently typed a message on a computer screen using only his brainwaves. He thought of the letters, and they appeared. This silent, profound act of communication represents a seismic shift in what it means to be human. So what exactly is a brain-computer interface, or BCI? At its core, it's a bridge, a direct communication pathway between the electrical activity of the brain and an external device, like a computer or a smartphone. There are two main approaches. The first is invasive, and it's the one that generates the most headlines. Companies like Elon Musk's Neuralink are developing tiny thread-like electrodes that are surgically implanted directly into the brain tissue. On the other end of the spectrum are non-invasive BCIs. These devices don't require any surgery. Both of these methods are powered by a silent partner, artificial intelligence. The raw data coming from the brain is incredibly noisy and complex. Sophisticated machine learning algorithms are trained to find patterns in this neural chaos. To understand how a BCI works, you have to understand the brain's native language, electricity. When millions of neurons fire together in a coordinated pattern, say, when you decide to lift your arm, they create a collective electrical field. The BCI's first job is simply to listen to this electrical symphony. Your brain is doing a million things at once. It's regulating your breathing, processing what you see and hear, and daydreaming about your next vacation. The signal for a specific intention, like move the cursor to the left, is buried within this immense background noise. The AI analyzes the corresponding brainwave patterns, learning to filter out the noise and isolate the unique neural signature for each command. Imagine a day where your thoughts are the only interface you need. Your smartphone, your computer, your television, they all respond without a single touch or voice command. You could compose and send a text message just by thinking the words. The smart home could become a true extension of your mind. An architect could visualize a change to a blueprint, and the three-dimensional model on their screen would shift and reform in real time. A musician could compose a complex melody in their head, and the notes would appear instantly in a musical score. A surgeon could manipulate a robotic arm with microscopic precision during a delicate operation using only their focused intent. So the question on everyone's mind is simple. When will this technology be available to the average consumer? Well, the answer is actually pretty complex, but experts are starting to form a bit of a consensus. For the most advanced, high-bandwidth applications, the kind that would let you type at the speed of thought, we're probably looking at a timeline of more than a decade. But here's where it gets even more surprising. What if your private thoughts weren't so private anymore? The next breakthrough could change everything you know about personal freedom. We're already seeing the first generation of these devices on the market, even if they're still a bit niche. If you're finding this eye-opening, hit subscribe and like. There's even more mind-blowing science and real-world stories coming up in the next chapters. Experts predict that within the next 3 to 5 years, we'll see a significant leap in both capability and user-friendliness for these non-invasive systems. Companies like Apple, Google, and Meta are investing heavily in what they call silent computing or neural interfaces. The most immediate and profound promise of BCI technology lies in healthcare, offering hope where there was once silence. For individuals locked in by conditions like ALS or severe stroke, these devices are not a convenience. They are a lifeline. Imagine typing a message or speaking in a synthesized voice simply by thinking the words. They offer the chance to communicate with loved ones after years of silence, to regain independence by controlling a wheelchair or a robotic arm with the power of the mind. But the potential extends far beyond restoring lost function. BCIs could fundamentally enhance human capabilities, blurring the lines between thought and action. Picture a surgeon performing a delicate operation with a mind-controlled robotic scalpel, achieving a level of precision previously unimaginable, or an artist creating masterpieces with their imagination alone. However, for every breathtaking promise, there is a corresponding and deeply unsettling peril. As we connect our minds to the digital world, we expose our innermost selves to unprecedented risks. The most significant of these is privacy. Our brainwaves can reveal not just conscious thoughts but subconscious biases and emotional states. This leads to the terrifying prospect of thought surveillance. An employer could monitor an employee's focus, or advertisers could tailor campaigns based on your unfiltered, subconscious reactions. And if our financial data can be hacked, what about our brain data? The consequences of a neural data breach are catastrophic. A hacker could steal memories, manipulate decisions, or hijack control of BCI-connected limbs. This raises urgent ethical questions. Who owns your neural data? What rights protect the sanctity of your mind? Without robust safeguards, this liberating technology could become the ultimate tool of control. This technology is the ultimate double-edged sword. On one side, you have the potential for unparalleled liberation. Imagine restoring communication to those locked within their own bodies, or granting mobility to the paralyzed, a promise of profound human connection. But every sword has two edges. On the other side of the blade, you have the potential for total oppression. The very same channels that can liberate a disabled person could be used to monitor, influence, and ultimately control a healthy one. In such a future, your thoughts could become the next frontier for data mining. Corporations could tailor ads not to your clicks but to your fleeting desires. Governments could screen for dissent before it's ever spoken. The concept of a private internal monologue, the sanctuary of your own mind, could become a relic. A data breach would no longer mean losing a password, but the theft of your innermost secrets and fears. This creates a terrifying potential for a new kind of social stratification. A world divided between the neurally transparent and those who choose to keep their minds private. Would opting out mean being left behind? Could access to jobs, insurance, or social spaces depend on your willingness to grant access to your consciousness? We could see the rise of a neural score, judging your worthiness based on your brain's raw data. Beyond societal control, the very nature of human experience could be altered. If we can summon information with a mere thought, will we lose our capacity for deep focus, for memory, for quiet contemplation? When answers are instantaneous, the journey of discovery risks becoming obsolete. Will we forget how to wrestle with complex ideas or to simply be alone with our thoughts unassisted and unprompted? And what of our emotional lives? If our emotions can be monitored and even modulated by technology, will we become less resilient, less authentic? When we can dial down sadness or amplify happiness on command, we risk losing the lessons that difficult emotions teach us. In our quest for a frictionless existence, we might smooth away the very challenges and imperfections that build character and make us human. The question we must ask is not just what we stand to gain, but what we can't afford to lose. We are standing at a crossroads. The science of the mind is moving with breathtaking speed, and consumer brain-computer interfaces are no longer a question of if, but when. One path leads to unprecedented human flourishing, curing diseases, unlocking new forms of creativity, and communicating with a depth we can only dream of. The other path leads to a darker world, a surveillance state of the mind, the erosion of free will, and profound social inequality. The pace of this change is unprecedented, and the stakes could not be higher. The real question we must face is societal. Are we ready for it? The honest answer is no. Our legal systems, built on centuries-old principles, are unprepared for the concept of neural data. Our ethical frameworks are struggling to keep pace with labs turning science fiction into fact. This is a call to action. We must begin the global conversation about how to govern this technology now, not after it's deeply embedded in our lives. This conversation can't be confined to boardrooms or government chambers. It needs ethicists, sociologists, artists, and you. We must be the architects of this new world before its rules are architected for us. We must establish clear principles, beginning with neural data ownership. Your brain data, your thoughts, your emotions, your very identity, must belong to you, as an inalienable extension of your personhood. If we don't secure this right, our innermost world becomes a commodity to be bought and sold. We must also demand radical transparency and accountability from the companies developing these devices. Their algorithms cannot be inscrutable black boxes. Unchecked, these systems could become the most powerful tools of manipulation ever created, shaping our desires without our knowledge or consent. We need auditable AI and a digital bill of rights that protects our cognitive liberty, our fundamental freedom to control our own minds. Ultimately, this isn't just about technology, it's about our human values. This technology is a mirror forcing us to choose autonomy or convenience, privacy or progress, authentic connection or digital integration. The power to read and write to the brain is extraordinary, but the wisdom to use it responsibly will define our future. The choices we make today will echo for generations. The future isn't predetermined. It will be built on our courage to ask hard questions and our commitment to place humanity at the heart of progress. The conversation has begun, and we all need to be part of it. Don't stop here. Hit subscribe and watch our next video on the future of AI and human potential to take this journey even further. Drop a comment below with your thoughts.